Okay, people are still connecting, but this is already looking great. Even though I only see some faces, this is very amazing to read a lot of names. I can also assume that we have lots of countries represented here. Already a warm welcome to the online town hall meeting. Once we have everyone connected, I guess we can get this started and also then go live with our live stream. Maybe a note for that: if anyone doesn't feel like they want to be shown on the live stream, then feel free to keep off the camera. Other than that, I'm putting a link and a code on the chat. We will use a Mentimeter page for this online townhall meeting. Maybe you can already go to menti.com and enter the code. All right, there's still people coming in. I will start sharing the Menti here. And I think people should see it now. All right, Laura, if you like, you can now hit the live button and we go online on Facebook for this town hall meeting. You can tell me once this is done and we will start with the presentation. Slightly delayed, but all good. Work in progress.
Almost there. It's still loading, but we're redirecting to Facebook Live. 3, 2, 1 and a half. We should be live now.
Okay. Hopefully, people on the Facebook who might now join from there will also see us. Welcome to the online town hall meeting on the future of EYP. Welcome, everyone. It's amazing to see a lot of faces, or at least names, here on the Zoom. We actually have been pretty overwhelmed with the big interest, and I think, or I have also gotten some messages from people who would like to join in later. We had like over 270 people indicating their interest, and we're now here, I think, around 60 people, which is amazing, and it shows a lot of interest actually in the future of EYP. Often people tend to say like, oh, this whole strategic long-term stuff doesn't bother anyone, that's too technical. That might be true for some parts, but we also really aim to make this evening interactive and instructive, and also insightful for you to see how you all can take part in how the EYP will look maybe in the next 5 years. I hope you all have accessed the Menti. If not, I will post it once more. And checking where I can do that. Chat here, yes, once more. So here is the menti.com and the code 9174284. That's where we will go for this presentation. I already see 17 hearts in the corners. Thank you very much. And I will move on to the first slide. And I would like you to, as I said, it's going to be interactive. So some work is there to do for every one of us. I want you to put in what are your rest of the year resolutions. Now we're at October, so there's only two months left. Is there anything you think you haven't done yet for 2020? I know a lot of things have been changed and we haven't maybe gotten a year that we were expecting for. But maybe you have still some things you would like to do. Okay, we have first results in Spanish, learning Spanish, sleeping. Sleeping is always a great idea. Job, finding a job. Yes, I have to do the same. I'm getting out of 2 jobs this week, so there's some work to do. Another language, Dutch. Someone wants to learn Dutch. Digital sessions. We have seen a lot of digital sessions this year. Someone wants to attend a digital session. Great. Enjoy engagement in EYP and learning from it. Sounds good. Thesis. Yeah, maybe don't procrastinate too much on that. Someone is actually also saying something about procrastinating. There's another person looking for a job. Learning French. So we got already French, Dutch, and Spanish. And Japanese. So not only European languages here. Cool. Maybe some more input. Some people have definitely figure out some stuff about their education, what they want to do in life, decide for masters or college. All right, thank you so much. That's interesting. Rest of the year resolutions, and of course we're here for a very big important topic. So let's say our rest of the year resolution is not only to get you informed about what has been discussed for the future of EYP, but kind of let's make the rest of the year resolution be about the strategy, maybe also for 2021, so that we all work on the EYP future together. Maybe that has some space in your rest of the year resolutions as well, next to all of the languages, the job finding, and everything else. And we will definitely talk about that today, how this can happen. All right, let's go to the next slide. We are interested in what do you think are current and future challenges that young people will face these days or in the next 4 or 5 years, and not only about them personally, but also when it comes to their engagement in society. The results or the impact of the pandemic, of course, is playing a role here. Aspects like mental health, discrimination, economical aspects. You see the slides moving here. There's new things coming in, more effects of COVID-19, financial aspects, specific issues for specific groups of young people, like I don't try this word again, young people living outside urban centers, or LGBTQ+.
I think we already tackled some of the challenges. Yes. with the
I think so.
With the strategy, and that's kind of really promising, isn't it?
It looks great. We have aspects of the relation between young people and older people. Maybe this can also be connected with decision-making in societies. Maybe someone is actually even keen on explaining one or two of their ideas they put in. You can use the chat to indicate if you like to talk, then we can give you permission to do. Anyone? There is a chat, someone in the chat. No? Okay, I don't see anyone now, but there's a lot of room to talk later. We will also have breakout sessions, so it might be a bit more cozy. You can also see each other. Yeah, it might be a bit challenging with this big group. Okay, new people coming in, by the way. Amazing. So next slide. We are getting closer to what we want to talk about today. And maybe introducing our vision that the governing body has worked on from the service that we created, maybe makes the connection of these challenges that you just put in the Menti and the strategy of the EYP. Maybe Lika, you want to give a little bit insight on what we have come up with.
Hello again, everyone, and I'm really very excited and happy to see a lot of familiar and not familiar faces and a lot of people in general. So basically how we got to this vision, it was not, of course, a random process. This was a process quite interactive and proactive with the members, because as you know, we had focus group interviews and surveys, and focus group interviews were like pretty comprehensive in itself, because these were like different rounds of interviews with different people and different target groups, including ANSIs and individual members and so on and so on. So the vision we kind of co-created together, it was definitely a let's say a result of very proactive work we did with the ANSIs and with different stakeholders who were in a different way in touch with EYP, including alumni actually, and that was really inspiring to see a lot of all people, you know, really getting engaged in this process. And of course, we had this, you know, like on one hand, the challenges that were voiced by members and ANSIs, and we kind of really tried to include these challenges and this part in the vision, but also we kind of wanted to, you know, to see and to develop some kind of continuity plan for the vision. So not only just to, you know, create a new one, but also see the link in between the old one and new one, and not to just shape something new, but to reshape the one we already have on the table. So this was the basic, you know, like the draft behind the vision, and that's how we kind of ended up here. And I do really hope that you kind of enjoy this vision and you have your input also in regards to what we've done and what we created. Yes. Yanis, I don't have access to Mentimeter, so
I can go to the next one.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so we're now, to give you a brief overview, because we're now started to talk about the strategy, to give you a brief overview what you can expect from the rest of the town hall. Now that we have started with some energizer questions, we will present you, or we presented the vision for what we want EYP to contribute in the next years. We will give you an overview of how the network will, what kind of like focus areas we found out together with a lot of people filling in the surveys or being with us on these groups that these focus groups that Lika were mentioning. And right after that, so in a couple of minutes, we will give you the opportunity to join one of the GP members, the governing body members, our international board, in in a breakout session. So a smaller group session. So we will split all of you, and you can discuss on one of the areas. We have 6 of them. You will get a quick intro, and then also contribute some ideas how we can actually get to these goals that we came up with. So yeah, our vision, just to read it one more time, or especially for those who might not be on the Menti, our vision is a democratic, peaceful, sustainable, and open society where every young person is informed and empowered to play an active role in the shaping of their own lives and society at large. So this is what we as the EYP want to pay in to contribute to. So next slide. How do we do that? We have a mission statement that explains kind of how EYP is working, how the activities that EYP is doing contributes to this vision. And we have come up with a new mission statement that is not so far away from the old one that we had, but still changed a little bit. Maybe Lika, you also want to introduce this one.
Yeah, so So I will just voice that once again. We want to inspire and empower a young generation of informed, open-minded, responsible, and active citizens that shape society and drive impact. So you might already recognize that we have some kind of, not huge, but some kind of little changes here. And I think that these changes really affect the direction EYP has nowadays, and that we implemented this very broad concept of active citizenship and open-mindedness and accountability between society and between young people, and that we really want young people to be in the center of not only decision-making, but actually driving the change and being impactful in their own communities. So we wanted to kind of, in this new mission statement, to have all of these details really reflected. So that's why we kind of really wanted to have this part of active citizenship, shaping the society, community, and to driving the impact really not only externally, but also internally. And that was a very interesting part of how we really reshaped the mission, even though it might not sound at first really different. Actually, you can see that there are this new, parts of EYP really reflected into that. And hopefully you see that, and you really see that it has an impact of all the work we have already gone through, and we are kind of now moving towards and forward to develop this concept even more in EYP at large.
Yes, that's a very good point, Lika. That's why we also do this online town hall meeting, developing the EYP and changing how we run the EYP is actually in the very sense, in the very spirit of this mission statement. So you, the members, and not only the national committees and the board members, the presidents of the entities should be in charge of how EYP will work in the future, but each and everyone can make their contribution. Oh, it's actually very nice to see. I'm just seeing some pictures right now that there's even some people joining as a group. Welcome, EYP Belarus, just to also have some interaction here, not only talking from one side. Yes, let's move on to the next slide. And these are the focus areas we want to have as a EYP in the future of the next 5 years. We have 6 areas, and I will present the first 3, and then I will give to Lika to present the next 3. We will just briefly introduce them. As we said, we will have a smaller groups, breakout sessions where you can discuss the details. So the first one, it is so much present in our mission statement, in what we want to change in young people's work or in young people's lives, that of course active citizenship is keeps being one of the main focus areas of our work, and the active citizenship and the active citizenship education that we are doing with our activities is a main part. We want to make it a bit more strategic. We want, for example, to go for a more themed approach, that every year we might look for a topic or a broader theme that we want to focus on. We want to work more with other partners. We want to be more recognized as an organization that is doing active citizenship education. The second, nope, let's go back, sorry. The second one is something that we only kind of established or understood during our discussions when we were reading through all of your answers from the surveys. And we were kind of thinking, yes, all these friendships and all these great memories and experiences that people make in the events with other people from other countries, this sounds so simple, but it's actually contributing to something very big, which is a peaceful European society, because it builds bridges and it fosters that we have a common European future, and it fosters solidarity between young people, and that's something very nice. And but this is not something that we can take for granted, and we have to keep working on it. And aspects like local initiatives, cross-border events, and all of this will fall under this pillar, this focus of our future work. Now, moving on to the third one, as an organization that is based on a network that is decentral and a network that is working with, only volunteer work, but still needs financial resources. Of course, a sustainable structure is important, financial stability, but also this whole aspect I just talked about, the aspect of strategic development, where not only the board or the governing body is deciding where to move on, this will also play a big role. So we want to make sure that there is opportunities for everyone to contribute. That's the third one. And now moving to the fourth one, Lika, you want to introduce the next three?
Yes, so the next one here we have, I think it's still the
volunteers.
Anyone, yeah. So the next one that we kind of really wanted to put emphasis on, it was the volunteers and their personal growth, because we did realize that as the volunteers are kind of like the core, let's say the core spirit of the EYP, like in generally, and also like in national committees, and just the concept of volunteerism is so huge in EYP, and the whole organization, the whole concept, the whole spirit of the organization is like literally standing on this concept. It was really important for us to put a very special highlight to this pillar, and of course we kind of wanted to include the personal growth and equal opportunities for the volunteers here. And on top of this, we also thought that the welfare part, which is already very, very important for EYP, to put this welfare part into and to fold this welfare part into this pillar as well. And we also, with this pillar, we realized that for the strategic development at large for EYP, it's like really, really important to represent volunteerism as a core principle of how EYP works, not only for like our internal audience, but also for external partnerships and external people and audience as well. The next pillar that we also found very important was more inclusive and diverse network, inclusion and diversity in general. And here we also, if we go back and see the evaluation of the last strategy of EYP, you could see that inclusion and diversity were the ones that really need to like reshape and some kind of give a new direction. And that's why if you then later in the breakout rooms, you can see that there are whole new objectives put in the pillar, and also you can see that there are new initiatives we're kind of trying to bring closer to EYP in terms of how we can change inclusive and diverse approach in numbers, and how we can really like move it forward at some point. And the very last, it is the network which offers a rich variety of methods, tools and formats. And here we we have this, like pillar really linked to and paired with active citizenship and educational programming of EYP. And you can see that we really want to be, like champions in terms of how we contribute to non-formal education in terms of methods, tools, and formats. And you can see that we really want to move EYP into more adaptable, more non-formal, and more diverse in terms of tools and formats we offer to not only volunteers, but also like people who just want to participate and, for example, just get some kind of specific skill sets and then apply these skills to beyond EYP or other EYP or other activities, wherever it might be their professional life or so on. So it also is vital that our volunteers have the ownership over what they do and how they do, and giving them these methods, tools, and formats, we think that really provide them with this ownership and the accessibility to develop their own projects within the organization, of course.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you, Lika, for introducing those. So these are the 6 ideas or bold directions we want to work on the next 5 years. And here we can see already some people started to fill in. We were interested in what you think is the most important one of those 6 directions. We should put the most effort in, or we should do the first because they're the most pressing one. You have time to order them in from 1 to 6, and we see which one makes the race. And as a governing body, of course, we take this into account with the further discussions on the documents and the strategy. So for now, the active citizenship one was all on the first, but now, okay, there's a peaceful society is also close in the first 3. Interesting. Still some movement. Yeah, for those people who just joined, we had some people that had to leave, unfortunately, but also there's people joining on a constant base. You can just go to menti.com and use the code 9174284 to still participate in our interactive part of the town hall. Actually feeling like a TV presenter here. Okay, we still have movement. There's okay. I think I would take it as some sign of okay. Not sure if it needs something. No, I think it's moving. Should be fine. Can people actually enter something? Should be. No, should be correct. Let me check once again if this is all working. Or why is this not? Maybe you're right. Thank you for the notification in the chat. Maybe this is not 100% correct. I will just check in the background if the slide is functioning how it should. Give me a second. I think your votes should not be lost, but maybe they're just currently not visible. One second. Actually, it should show. Okay, I go back quickly to the. No, I think now it should be actually. I will see. Maybe if I move on, it works. Or I just close the voting. It's still showing test votes. Yeah. I don't know why this is the case, but I will find out during the break what the results is, or not during the break, but during the technical issues as always. So I will find out during the activities in the breakout sessions, and we'll follow up with the result later. So and here you can see a Wordle cloud, or a word figure made from the surveys that all the members, volunteers, and alumni filled out. So you can see some words that have been mentioned there a lot, like outreach, skills, accessible, people, inclusion, diversity, support, institutions, recognition, accessibility, process, cooperation, lots of words that hopefully also will be reflected in the progress of the strategy. We I just put this here as an inspiration for what is coming now. We have started with 15 minutes delay, so that's okay because we also are 15 minutes now later than the schedule, so all is good. We have planned for 2 rounds of 20-minute breakout sessions, so you will have the chance to discuss with a member of the governing body on 2 of these 6 pillars that we have just presented. And then we're coming back to the plenary for a very, very short, brief wrap up. And I will also tell you then how you can stay in touch with us, with the governing body, on those issues, and how you can contribute as an individual on a very low effort scale to bring in your ideas. Okay, people are coming back. Our session was just stopped in the middle of a sentence, so there was a lot to talk about, but time constraints are here, and we have already seen also some people needing to leave. So I hope it triggered some discussions you want to continue. Yeah, and while now some people are still coming back, we also should be live now again on Facebook. So also waving at the people who might join from there. As promised, I fixed the Mentimeter technical issue, and I can present to you the results of the voting. Europe has voted, and I'm actually a bit surprised, or not surprised, but it's a nice sign also that the one that got the most votes is one of the new pillars that hasn't been in the pillars beforehand, which focuses mainly the work on volunteers and their personal growth, which is, yeah, a nice sign to also kind of like say thank you to all the people making EYP happen. Directly after that, active citizenship as one of the main activities of the EYP is still important. And number 3, still on the top 3, inclusive and diverse network. Of course, all the others are still yet relevant and important, but might be not as pressing according to your votes. we will take that into account. And also the Menti is now open again for joining, and you can still vote on the slides you haven't voted yet. But we will now move on to towards the end of today. Is there any questions that have been left from the breakout sessions that you still want to discuss? You can type them in the chat or type them into the Menti. While you do that, I can maybe already explain kind of what happens after this town hall and what we will do right now in the next 2-3 minutes. You saw that after we presented to you our vision, or hopefully also our common vision of all EYPers for the future of this organization, after we did that, we presented you the 6 areas we want to work on. And in the breakout sessions, we talked about specific objectives and specific results we want to achieve for those areas of work. And we brainstormed together some initiatives, some concrete measures, actions that can be taken to make that happening. For example, in one of my sessions, there was something very concrete about sustainability, how events can calculate their footprint. And there was something in the other session about digital sessions between continents, because normally we wouldn't be able to do that very easily. But now with digital sessions, it might be possible to do a US, EU, or European session. Those things need to be implemented, and we want everyone to be able to contribute and to take part in those initiatives. So it will be great if not only the national committees, but everyone who wants can contribute and make those ideas that you also just wrote down, make them become a reality. So there's questions coming in here. I will try to answer them or also kind of hint where this can be discussed. I think this question is pretty interesting for the pillar on peaceful society. We just discussed this actually in our breakout room, in how far we might also need to go a little bit out of our comfort zone as an organization that does events in societies where there is maybe already some peaceful society, and we just kind of like foster this with friendships and all of that. But is there also something that we can do in areas or regions of Europe where there is more sorts of an actual conflict going on? I don't have an answer for that, but definitely something to discuss. Then, yes, of course. Of course, we would like to make more meetings like this. This is actually our plan. Today is, I think, kind of the first ever meeting of this sort. So we didn't want to bother you too much, just to see how it works. But yeah, also nice that there's already like thumbs up for this. You're very much welcomed, and we will let you know. Thank you very much. The strategy will be released after the Board of National Committees has talked about this. I mean, actually, we have already released a draft. You can find on the member platform for everyone to be accessible. There's a post on the news. And so you can read through all the objectives, all the pillars, and also some ideas for results. And it also explains how we come to the initiatives. But the final version will be released when the Board of National Committees has discussed this next weekend and kind of gave it its kind of like approval, let's say. And we also then have to detail a little bit more about what actions we wanna work on to make the strategy become alive. All right. Yes, good question. I will get to answer this question in a very short time. So I'll skip this for now. And a good idea of linking the theme of active citizenships and elections. Yes, very good. I think I can't see Noura right now in the Zoom, but I think she would have a big smile on her face because that's something that she has already worked on from the governing perspective. And we definitely want to have this as part of the strategy, making note of this, that there's also people out there who think the same. So maybe this is something the person who wrote this wants to work on. And yeah, thanks for the questions. I hope I didn't miss any in the chat. Let's see. No. All right. So now wrapping up this evening, what are the 3 words that come to your mind after this online town hall meeting on EYP's future? Is there anything that pops into your mind, any words, associations you have, any topics that kind of stuck with you, any questions that stuck with you, anything, any inspiration that you took from this? Put it in the Menti, and then we see what you came up with, and then we move on to the very last step of tonight. All right. Happy outreach, inclusion. So some topics are definitely stuck with you, but also something about the event itself, interactive, engaging. That's very nice that this came across. Collaboration, organized but late. That's a good point. Maybe we offer different times for future events. Active citizenship, of course. Future, I hope, yes, this is all about future. Awareness, excitement, exciting, lots, educating, proactive. Yes, amazing. So it looks like there's a lot of motivation and also interest in the different topics that we already tackled. So how can you stay involved? We count on you. Lika will now put in the chat a small Google form that you can fill out in like only 2 minutes. We, as the governing body, really want to invite you and make sure you have opportunity and the chance to work with us and a lot of other people, hopefully, to make sure that this strategy on these future ideas for the EYP make their way in becoming reality. And to keep in touch with you, we would like you to fill out this short form so you can indicate what kind of areas you would be interested in, who you are, of course. And how this works is that, as I said, we're gonna finish the strategy, the main part of the strategy, like the pillars, the objectives, and those very soon. And we will invite for a workshop somewhere in November, a creative workshop to finalize those results that you have seen on the Jamboards, where a lot of X's were still put in. So what are the numbers that we want to achieve in the future? So how many NCs should become net zero in their sustainability? How many cross-border events do we want to have? How many partnerships? And so on and so forth. These things need to be finalized, as well as all the actions that are behind those results. So all the things that you brainstorm together, we need more of them. And we will have a workshop on that. You can take part there. Or then finally, we will send out a poll to the whole network for signing up for initiatives carried out that can happen as a board of 1 NC. That can happen as 3, 4, 5 individuals from all different NCs. This can happen in a working group from the BNC or the governing body. Next year, we're gonna have GB associates again, supporting people for the work of the governing body. Maybe this is happening because you're a head organizer and you think your event could contribute to one of the pillars and you have a great idea how this can happen. So there's different very diverse approaches, ways of how much time you want to contribute to this. And yeah, fill in the form. We're very looking forward. And to all of those people who are now on the Facebook or only watch this video later, maybe, we will post the Google form also in the event. So you can fill it out later if you have made up your mind after watching this, or you had to leave earlier. Yes, so there we are with the ending of this very online town hall meeting. Thank you so much for keeping with us throughout the evening, for all your cool ideas, for all the contribution. If you have any specific feedback for us, feel free to use the chat or talk to us. We will still stay here for a little bit longer, some couple of minutes, or send us an email to gb@eyp.org, or just approach any of the governing body members. We're always open and happy to hear your opinions. And I see some people already use the chat. Yes, Nora says thanks for all the cool initiatives we will work on. Dennis says as well, Iggy, a lot of thank yous from the governing body. We're really happy to see that there's a lot of other people being interested in moving this whole big network forward. Yeah, I am wishing you a great night on behalf of everyone involved. Thanks to the governing body members being here and helping facilitating the events. Thanks a lot, Lika, for helping, supporting in the background, creating all these documents and doing 3 things at the same time. Thank you to Laura for the technical setup. Yeah, I'm not holding you any longer. Have a good night. See you somewhere, hopefully very soon in the next strategy call or whatever. Bye.
Fill out the form.